Wander Wealthy Podcast, episode 257. Welcome to the Wander Wealthy Podcast. My name is Tess Wicks. I'm the host of this show, founder of Wander Wealthy, and financial coach turned business coach to help support all of my new aspiring and seasoned money coaches of the world. And this show, the Wander Wealthy Podcast, does exactly that. Here on a weekly basis, we talk all things building an online business, specifically in the coaching industry. We dive into the trials and tribulations of being a money coach, how you can be a better money coach, and all the things in between, from the mindset to the marketing to the sales to the building that program that you've constantly knew you need to build so you have something to sell. We're going to talk about it here, and this is the place you need to be if that's what you are looking for. This week, we have a special show in store. I'm going to be sharing the 6 overrated online business must-dos to ignore right now for your money coaching business. That's right. I am a coach that's a little bit unconventional because a lot of the things that people tell you to do, I tell my clients not to do, or to ignore, or maybe just to wait on right now. You see, the online coaching space and the online marketing space, the online business building space is full of a lot of noise. And I know how difficult it can feel to navigate, especially when you're early in your business or you're doing a lot of things, maybe all the things, but not seeing results. So I wanted to share a list of things not to do and kind of explain why we take this different alternative route to get the results that you're looking for in your business. And that is typically having a steady stream of clients, or maybe getting your first client and actually seeing money come in the door. After all, that's what we're here to do in our business. Make money, yes, but also make an impact. And it's really hard to make an impact when there aren't clients on your roster. So if we want to focus on getting those results, then I want to share with you the things that you should do, which obviously this whole podcast, you can go through many, many episodes to learn about those things. But there's also a lot of people who get distracted, or their focus just gets taken away from them because, again, that noise on the internet telling them about all these other things they have to be doing in their business right now. And I'm just going to call BS on it right now and say, hey, you don't have to spend your time doing it, because a lot of these things are time suckers, or what I like to call, quote unquote, playing business instead of doing business. So we're going to talk all about that today. And this is quite a long intro, but I get passionate about these things and I got to tell you all about it. Before we dive in, let me just share with you a special opportunity. I am looking for 2 to 3 clients to work with me over the next 3 months in the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, which is my signature program. We will be working together one-on-one to craft your life-changing coaching package, offering, or program, and make sure that it sells to your ideal clients. We'll work together and you'll learn how to sell that offering in a way that feels good and inviting and empowering. And we'll establish a marketing plan for your business that feels sustainable and a foundation that you can scale up from. So if you're craving support, if you're looking for a mentor who can say, hey, I've been there, here are the steps I would take if I was back in your position, or anything else in between, if you need a little bit of hand-holding or accountability, maybe you sign in to your computer and then you waste so much time just trying to figure out what you should be doing today that you don't get anything done, or you feel like you're getting very little done and you need some direction. You need someone to help you see what specific things you could be doing each day, each week, each month to move the needle forward in your business. If that's what you desire for yourself right now, for your business right now, then I implore you, head to wanderwealthy.com/blueprint. Check out the details of this very intimate and co-creational opportunity. And I invite you to fill out the application if that is the right next step for you. So wanderwealthy.com/blueprint. I am taking on a limited number of clients right now, and you might have the opportunity to work with me during this end of winter. Can I say that already? End of winter, early springtime to get you launching into spring and early summer. So wanderwealthy.com/blueprint. All right, we're going to dive in. I have 6 overrated online business must-dos that I need to debunk for you. I need to kind of set the record straight. And you've probably heard me talk about these things in lots of different episodes and kind of tease them or mention them, but you might wonder kind of why. Why are these things not something you should be focusing on, especially when everybody and their mother is saying, yes, the first thing you need to do in business is XYZ. And I'm telling you the exact opposite. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, I do want to make a disclaimer. All of the things I'm going to share with you, they are things that you can and maybe eventually should do. Okay. And that's why if you're going to listen to the list of things and go, oh my gosh, this is what everyone is telling me to do, and now Tess is saying don't do it, it's not because it's not good for your business, right? Like the reason why the marketing gurus and the business coaches are telling you to do these things are because, yeah, eventually your business might need them. And that business coach might be telling you to do these things because that's what they're doing right now. But when I kind of stop and really reflect on what is effective for someone very early on in their business, or for someone who's kind of hit a plateau or hit a point of just frustration and nothing is working, then these are actually the last things someone should be focusing on. And I feel very deeply about that. So I want you to know that I'm not saying these things are bad, or if you are working with a coach or you already have these things in place or you really want to put these things in place. I'm not saying that you should never or you should fully avoid them, but they might not be the best use of your time right now. They might not be appropriate for where your business is at right in this moment. And that's the disclaimer I want to make off of the top. And maybe I'll get into, when I go through this list, maybe I will kind of touch on when is the appropriate time to start kind of working on some of these other things. But we'll see how it goes. Okay. So the first one is the one that I think we all get super excited to start working on when we decide we're going to build a business. This is like probably the first thing you think about having to have in place before you can sell anything or before you can even like start your Instagram profile or whatever it is building a website. So yes, I am standing here today telling you, you do not need to spend time, spend money, but mostly it's probably going to be a lot of your time building a website, making it look perfect, just like getting it all, into your vibe, right? I know how much time goes into building a website, especially when you don't have a lot of funds to invest in someone else doing it. But I'm saying you shouldn't spend the time building the website. You also don't necessarily need to spend your financial resources paying someone else to build a site for you. Now, here is why. What you need is to have a place for people to go, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be a website. You can just as easily leverage a social media profile, and that's kind of the home base for people for now when you're out there marketing and networking about your business. A lot of times you can think about, your website. A lot of people like to equate it to maybe, okay, what would I put on a business card? If I'm handing out a business card, what would I put on it so that people can reach me? And most people will put their website, assuming people are going to get your business card, then they're going to go to your website. You know what's even more effective is when you're out there networking, you say, hey, add me on Instagram or add me on LinkedIn or add me on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and I'll follow you right back. And this actually helps so much more get you connected with that actual connection that, the point of networking is to do, than to just hand out a business card with your website on it or write down your website for someone and hope and pray that they actually spend time to go and, visit it. And then what happens? You have no way to actually get in contact back with them. So I love the idea that you can actually establish and build a business. I know, and I've had clients before that have built 6-figure businesses without ever having a website. I mean, I believe they do now, but that's because, again, it's not like you should never have a website, but it's absolutely unnecessary in order to establish your business. We can create other assets within your business that feel valuable, that are valuable, but they are perceived as valuable to potential clients without even having a website. And they'll still go, oh, this totally makes sense. Let me sign up to work with this person. Okay. So you can set up a social media profile. Obviously, you want to do the research to make sure it's the right one for your clients, but you can set something up in a fraction of the time and at a literal fraction of the cost, even no cost, as compared to what it would take to build a website. And you can leverage that. You actually get even more to the point with the individuals who you're interacting with on that platform, which is the social media platform, instead of a website that is very, one-dimensional in the sense that people visit it and then you have no idea who's visiting it and whether there's an opportunity for you to interact back with them and really take that relationship to the next level. All right? I know it's hard because I know you probably really badly want a website. It makes you feel more legit. It's going to make, potentially you think, my clients would never hire someone without a website, but I promise you, your clients are probably, their first step is going to be to Google your name and see if you have social media first and foremost before a website, because we are going into that sort of society where having that social presence is just as important, if not more important, than the website. So you can leverage that and you can get the results faster because, again, not a lot of time invested in having to build the website or the resources. The second thing that you don't need to spend a ton of time or money on right now is that deep branding work. And what I'm talking about here is I know the hours and hours and time and thought and possibly stress that you could put into picking the perfect name, the perfect URL, right? If you don't have a website, guess what? You don't have to pick your URL yet, and that's okay, right? The perfect logo, the perfect colors, the perfect fonts. Now, here's the deal. If you're going to leverage social media, and depending on your clientele, it might be less important. But for some, it might be important to have some sort of consistency in the look and feel of your brand. And you're allowed to have a brand without hiring a brand strategist or a designer to create your brand for you. You already have a brand. It is you. It's your personal brand. And now you're going to probably work on developing the brand for your business. And although most people would think about hiring a designer or someone to create that brand for your business, you're already in a way doing that just by showing up and bringing your personal brand into the business. And so branding also is so much more than just the colors, the logo, the font, and the perfect name. It's also, I guess, for lack of a better term, the vibe that people get from experiencing your business. And I wanted to say it that way because on one hand, that could be literally going to a website, which again is what everybody thinks about when they're looking to start a business is I have to build a website and I have to figure out the branding behind that. But it can also just be the experience of interacting with you, your brand, your business on social media. And you can create your own brand for your business through the colors that you represent in the graphics that you create or in the photos that you post. Maybe you find some sort of theme or filter that you use for the photos that you do upload, or it's also in the way that you talk and you communicate and you show up on that platform. So it's not just necessarily all of the stuff that would go on a website. It's also, like I said, the vibe. And that's something that can actually come a little bit more natural to you. And also, I think it's important to note that you can shift your vibe and you can change it along the way. And it's not something that you necessarily have to nail down perfectly right away. It's something that I actually invite my clients to work on and grow into and figure out what's going to work for them down the road. And that down the road can also represent an opportunity to hire a designer or a brand strategist who's going to help you kind of hone in on the consistent look and feel that you're going for, as well as, once you do get to the point of building a website and getting those fonts and the graphics and the logos and even the name, yes, the name, once you get there, getting all of that down as well. But you can see that a lot of people, and you might have experienced this, when you're making these kind of branding decisions, especially when you're creating a website, it takes a long time to actually create the thing, but also these decisions take time. And there's this kind of sense of feeling of permanence when you're making the decisions. And that can lead you to take longer to make the decisions and also just feel a lot more pressure around them. And therefore, you kind of want to delay to make sure it's the perfect, best decision. So on one hand, I want to remind you that you can always change your mind. You can always change the name of something, especially earlier on. You can change the colors, the fonts, the logos. You can go through a rebranding. You can go through a pivot. But on the other hand, I also want to remind you that nailing this stuff early on isn't that important. No matter how often or much you hear from other coaches, other people that this is the most important thing and you got to start here first, and I'm going to sell you a course on how to build your website, that's not the thing that's bringing in the money. And that's not the thing that's creating the impact for your clients. And therefore, these are tools, but they're not the thing that you most likely need to be focusing on right now. So again, it's one of those kind of online business must-dos that I suggest ignore for now for the sake of your money coaching business. All right. Number 3, and this one I brought up to a client that I was doing a continuation session with, and we had worked together a year or 2 ago, and then we were hopping on to discuss some sales strategies for her. And I brought up the fact that I don't think freebies are that important. And she was shocked by it because she could have swore I said that she needed to create a freebie. And I was like, no, I don't think I've ever told you to do that. And it's because I am a firm believer that, especially when you're starting out, creating a freebie can be a huge waste of time. Now, if you have a brilliant idea and you want to pop one out there, go for it. But I know from personal experience that creating a freebie just to get people on the email list just prolongs the actual speed of getting potential, interested parties and turning them into paying clients. And for a lot of us, we think this is the only way to get strangers to turn into clients, is we need to develop a freebie and then we need to get their email address and then we need to nurture them. But there are so many faster ways to do that. And the freebie is really something that, again, it prolongs it, but also kind of going back to doing all that branding work, doing the website work, it takes time. And we get all in our heads thinking about what's the perfect freebie I'm going to create. Are people even going to want this? I haven't even really tested the market to figure out what they would want. And also, I just don't really think, especially if you're creating really great marketing content that is already educational and free for people, I don't think it's necessarily necessary that you need to have a freebie at all. But that is a podcast for another day. Now, this is probably shocking some of you because most conventional business advice tells you that you have to build an email list, and to do that, you must create a freebie so that, it makes people willing to give away their email to get this thing that you've created for them. And in my opinion, I'd rather people pay to be part of this kind of community that I'm building. And not because my community is so exclusive and people need to pay to be a part of it. It's not in any way, shape, or form that coming from that mindset. But it's because that I know a majority of the people in this world that sign up and trade their emails for freebies are going to take that freebie and put it into their freebie folder graveyard and never touch it again. And those aren't the type of people that I want in my community. I want people who are invested, who are engaged, who are ready to do the work, and who are willing to invest in that process. And I know that if I pay for something, I'm going to give it way more time of day than if I get something online for free. Usually, again, it just like gets shoved into some folder in my email inbox or some actual folder on my desktop, and I kind of completely forget about it. So I'm not saying that all freebies are bad, because I create freebies from time to time. I find things that I'm just like, oh, why not? I don't really want to slap a price tag on it and do the whole marketing thing to get people to sign up for it. And, again, I have a process and I have a kind of strategy behind this and a reasoning why. But again, podcast for another time. But I really do want to make sure that my time is being leveraged in the best way possible. And I still do this today, even though I don't necessarily need to be creating freebies or lower priced offerings. I still make sure that, like, if I am creating a freebie, I can do it really quickly and I don't, overthink it too much. But I think a big reason why I'm able to do that is because it's not a huge part of my marketing strategy, nor is it the key part of my marketing strategy that's turning potential clients into paying clients. And that's the thing that I'm kind of alluding to here, is that so many new business owners learn that building an email list is the number one thing you have to do in business. And in order to do that, you have to create a freebie. And if you want clients, then you have to do these things. And they make it that their main business strategy, and then spend a lot of time trying to think of that perfect freebie and then creating it and making it perfect and then putting it out there and then kind of being disappointed by it. And I just think, there's a better way. There's a more direct way to get in front of our ideal clients. And so for now, I think it can be a waste of your time when you are early on in your business. Okay, it's not going to get the results that you want. It's going to get you maybe a baby step among the tons of steps to eventually get to the results you want. But like I said, I know that there are better ways. And what if you could just take one giant step directly towards those desired results that you have? And you can, but you gotta stop racking your brain and also stop with that kind of procrastination guilt of I need to create the freebie, but I haven't created it. And then we kind of get stuck in that loop of freebie shame when in reality, you don't need one for now and maybe forever, but like for sure for now. Okay. That leads me to the fourth thing that I think you can ignore temporarily. And this might shock your pants off. It kind of just spurs from that last one, which is building an email list. Now, I know I'm going against every business owner's advice, every entrepreneurial coach, everybody, when I say you don't need to focus on building an email list right now. And an email list is insanely valuable, right? We hear all this talk over and over again about owning your contacts, your subscriber base, your people versus borrowing it via social media. But, and I'm just saying this now, I believe the email game, and insert freebie here, that whole thing is the long-term goal. That's the long game that you need to play, okay? It's not a pressing goal that'll help you get the results that you're looking for, which if you're early on in your business, you're looking to validate the effectiveness of your marketing. You're looking to validate the effectiveness and even the desirability of your offering. And an email list is going to take a long time to validate those things. We can validate all this effectiveness much more quickly by utilizing social media as you would an email list. And this always kind of blows my clients' minds because, again, they're thinking, the website, it needs to go on the business card, and then I can collect someone's email if they give me their business card. And this is obviously using and leveraging real world situations and then bringing them into the digital world because we really don't use business cards anymore. But a lot of people are thinking through this, and it's like, there's the website, but then I can really connect with the people by getting their email. And I'm saying you can utilize a social media platform in the exact same way, right? The platform is where you show up, you share more about you, right? There's the About You page, there's your services. So you let people know what you're about, what your services are, and you also educate them through your content. So most websites, if you're building your business, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have a blog, I'm going to have an About Me page, I'm going to have a services page, and then maybe I'll have some sort of, like an opt-in page to then have my freebie so that then people can get on my email list. Well, you could do the exact same thing utilizing social media, but then instead of having an opt-in to take people off of the platform and over to email to then start to get nurtured by you via email, what if we could just directly correspond with the people on this very platform and get them to that next step, which would be, inquiring about what their options are for working with you. And you absolutely can. That's what direct messaging is for. And so social media, whatever platform you choose to use, and again, it'll kind of depending on what social media you're thinking about. But if you're thinking about the typical kind of Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok, I believe you could do this on. You're really leveraging that platform to create the content that you would exactly the same, but in different formats that you would create for a website. And then instead of sending people to an opt-in page to sign up on an email list, you just connect with them right there on that platform. And so you don't have all these additional steps that they have to go through in order to learn more about you and be quote unquote nurtured by you. And it really helps get to those results. Now, again, you can introduce an email list down the line, and I think it's a great way because, yes, owning those connections and having more control over it is a lot better than relying on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn to continue operating and having that be your only business strategy. But I'm not saying that it should be your only business strategy over the long term. But again, when you're early in your business or you're at a really kind of frustration breaking point where you're not seeing results, we might need to change it up. We might need to do the thing that's going to directly get you results, not only for your confidence, but also, again, to validate the effectiveness of your marketing as well as the actual effectiveness and desirability of your offering. So I do have an owned list of contacts, and it is important for the longevity of your business, but building that list takes time and lots of testing as to what works in order to get those emails submitted by ideal clients. And I'm talking about what types of freebies or low price deliverables you're going to create so that your clients will buy into them or sign up for them. And alternatively, you can leverage that social media platform where you have synchronous communication with your ideal client, meaning you're able to go back and forth with each other instead of an email, which is asynchronous. You send it out and then you hope someone responds. All right. So if I haven't broke your brain yet, we have two more things that I am saying you can totally ignore, but a lot of people are saying, no, this is what you absolutely have to do before you launch your business or before you're allowed to get clients or whatever. So number 5 is to get your course created. Okay, there's so many online courses teaching you how to build your online course. And although technically that's also a part of the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, which is my signature online coaching program. We actually coach individually one-on-one, but it is part of the curriculum is to teach you how to build a course. In almost every other industry, business owners will create MVPs, aka minimum viable products, or a proof of concept, right? They'll create, what are those called? Where you create a model of the thing and you present it without actually spending hours and tons of money or time building the full end-to-end solution. And if you were in the physical product industry, building a bunch of them and then hoping that they sell. And you should do the exact process too. You should build your MVP, your minimum viable product. You should build out your proof of concept. You should build your, not replica. What am I trying to say? You guys will let me know. But you should build that thing and see if it's sellable before you fully build it out entirely. And this is something that we teach inside of the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, how you create your framework and how you outline your program, and you can sell the structure of it, the minimum viable product of it, for people to buy into it, so then you can take it and you can actually deliver it for them, right? You can take it and you can say, all right, I'll fill in all of the gaps here. I'll fill in everything that needs to be filled in, and we can work together, and you're going to get everything that you paid for, but it's going to be an amazing personalized experience. Now, this is really hard for a lot of my clients when we start to work together. I wouldn't say all of them, but there's a good portion of them that get tripped up here. And it's because it feels strange to sell something that's not fully developed yet. And I make the argument that it's actually better for the client, right? It's not like you won't, when you go through the blueprint, fully ideate the end result and the actual deliverable that you're going to be providing to your clients. You'll have that. You'll know exactly what that needs to look like. But I'm talking about spending the time, the hours, the energy, probably the money too, actually building out those presentation slides, actually recording all of the videos. Those are things that you can record as long as you're, 1 to 2 weeks ahead of the delivering it to your clients. You're still creating what they're paying for. You're still delivering that to them, and they're going to get it. And what's even better is the people who early on invest with you and with this program of yours, your either first ever or your brand new program that you've created for them, they're going to get the most personalized experience. So even though your animal part of your brain is going, this is whack, I can't do this, I want you to know that most tech companies do this, and even a lot of big corporate companies do this with prototypes. That's the word I was looking for, a prototype. Creating these prototypes, getting investors or getting buyers, getting them bought in, and then using some of that early investment money to build it out. And in this case, you're just getting clients to buy in to the full program that you're selling that you've already done. Again, if you're going through the blueprint, you've already done that research on, and then you get to spend that time creating it, knowing that you've made sales. So now you're creating it, and you're creating it even better than you would have before when you didn't make sales ever. And also, just like an added bonus, it actually allows you to get the thing created faster, because now you have a little bit of time pressure. With a paying client, you have a little bit of financial pressure and a little bit of time pressure, knowing that someone paid and now they need this by this day, and no more do you get to just procrastinate and perfectionize and spend a lot of time, probably way too much time, creating your course before you ever sell it even once. So I'm saying you don't need to get your course fully created before you sell. And I know that's a little scary for some, but like I said, in the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, this is important to us because we need to validate that your program is sellable, that people want it, and that people see the value in it. And then we go and create it and deliver it. And you'd be doing the exact same thing whether you did it before the sale or after. Now we're just validating it and getting that early investment to make it worth it for you to hit the ground running and build out the course. So finally, we're at number 6. This one is kind of a little bit of a bonus one. And it's just one that I see a lot of people doing. And again, there's definite benefit here. I think the only one that I would say you could ignore forever is getting your course fully created before ever making a sale. But all these other ones you might bring in later down the line. You might turn to them for longer term plans, but in the beginning, it's not necessarily going to help your business get the results that you're looking to get early on to validate your business idea, the offering that you've created, the niche clientele that you want to work with, and also that you're going to enjoy this entire process in the first place. So number 6 is networking your face off on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook with other money coaches. Okay? Now let me explain. We know that collaboration is great. We're all about community. I'm obsessed with that. I think the world needs way more money coaches than there are even now. And believe me, once you establish your online presence, you're going to realize that there are far more money coaches than you thought there were in the world when you initially had this idea. And it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but you're also going to feel the pressure of networking and connecting with them because you might see that they're already kind of in groups, in communities, and have done the networking themselves. And this is something that I'm not saying ignore flat out or be rude and be like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Definitely do that. Some of my favorite people throughout my entrepreneurial experience, I've met because they are fellow money people, and we've met at conferences or we've met online, and it's been so great to have that support and have other people in this space. What I'm saying, and maybe this is more for those introverts out there who get like anxious thinking about needing to create your community and collaborate and network, is that doesn't have to be your top priority right now, especially if it takes a lot of energy from you, because time management is way more about managing your energy than it is about managing your time. And so if you think about needing to network with everyone, that can be great, but we need to focus first and foremost on, what that end result is that you're looking for right now, right? What is the validation you need in this space for your business, for your clientele, so that you can ensure that this can move forward? And I think what's really great about first focusing on the offering that you want to make in the world and the niche that you want to serve is that then you'll be able to more easily and clearly articulate that to the people that you're networking with. I think that, one key way of even creating and marketing and getting sales is through strategic partnerships. And there's a lot of strategic partnerships in the online business space and even within the money coaching space, because there are people who are so niche that if someone comes to them and they don't really serve that specific problem or that specific demographic, then they could easily know who to send them to, and with great excitement. However, again, maybe this is mainly for my fellow introverts. It's not the absolute number one thing you need to be doing right now. And I only say this because I see a lot of people building their network of fellow money people and then not really having what it is that they want to offer, not really having that plan of what am I offering to the world? How am I going to make money here? Because at the end of the day, they do want to turn this into a business. So you can probably do both at the same time, but I wanted to offer that to anyone who's feeling a little bit of pressure or anxiousness around needing to network and build that community of fellow coaches. It is potentially kind of diluting your online space, if you will. It's surrounding you by more of what maybe you feel you should be doing because of that just natural peer pressure you'll feel by seeing fellow online coaches doing their thing, and you'll think, I have to be doing that, I have to be doing that, I have to be doing that. Oh, look, this person has a website. Now they're telling me I have to have a website because that's what they did. However, I'm not getting the results, and I really need to be focusing on that one thing. So it's a little bit more of a permission granted of, if you're feeling a little anxious about the networking right now and you're seeing a lot of other people growing their online followings through collaborating and networking, just remember, one of my favorite coaches said you can't cash followers in at the bank. So although we do want to build community, we do want to create a big impact, we also need to make sure that this business is sustainable, is scalable, is doable for you. So don't need to go all in on just building that network, building that following before you focus on the key high leverage activities that you need to be focusing on. All right. That's it. That's all, folks. I hope your brain is okay. If you have any questions, you can always hit me up over on Instagram. I'm at Tess_Wicks, and I would love to make more podcast episodes answering your questions. So go ahead and send me a DM. I'm getting back into the gram very slowly but surely, and I would love to chat with you. If you want to join me for an exclusive round of the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, one-on-one coaching with me for 12 weeks straight, you can sign up by heading to wanderwealthy.com/blueprint. Find all the details there, fill out the application, and then we will take the next step forward together. So wanderwealthy.com/blueprint. Thank you so much for tuning in this week and hanging out with me. And until next time, I hope you wander wealthy.